This is the Sports Timeout Podcast with Tony Caranco, Tristan Howe, and your host, Wes Underwood.
Time again, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Timeout Podcast, brought to you by Jefferson's and Kraken Cajun Seafood House in Joplin. If you're in the mood for some fresh Cajun, head on over to Kraken Cajun Seafood House in Joplin across from Moe's on Main Street. And if you're in the mood for some wings, head on over to Jefferson's behind Books A Million on Rangeline. And that's where we're going to be next week doing our show, hopefully. So Wes Underwood alongside Tony this week. Tristan is out for some personal issues. And welcome back. You ready to get things going?
Yes, sir. Kraken Cajuns and Jefferson sounds really good right now.
It does, actually. I don't know what it is
really
about
hungry.
stormy weather, but I want some wings. It is Tuesday. So
yeah, it sounds really good.
We'll be there next week. And we open up in the NBA and we'll talk finals. And Golden State won out, got some rest. And Boston and Miami gave the fans what they wanted in a 7-game series. The two will face off this Thursday. And what are your thoughts here? I mean, this will be the Warriors' 6th finals appearance since 2015. They are currently 3-2 in those finals appearances and won 2 finals in a row after being defeated in the first time back in 2016 by Cleveland. And now they could back that up after losing in 2019 with this year and possibly next year. So we'll see how it goes. But they lost in 2019 to the Raptors. Cleveland and Toronto getting their first titles against the Warriors ever. So that was pretty cool to watch. But that being said, who do you have winning and how many games do you have it going?
I'm hoping it goes all 7 games, and I'm hoping that the Celtics end up winning the whole thing.
Okay.
Obviously, I want to go Game 7 because it's good for the sport. But I want the Celtics to win just because they're kind of the underdog in this. They were supposed to lose to Brooklyn. They were supposed to lose to the Heat, and they were supposed to lose to whoever the series before that. So really, they've kind of been, the Cinderella team this whole time. And physically, I don't know if they can physically do it, because they don't have as much rest as the Warriors do. The Warriors have had a few days extra in rest. When you get at this point in the season, as much rest as possible is going to be needed.
Yeah.
To me, I see the Warriors winning. Realistically, if I was going to put money on it, I'm putting money on the Warriors. But I would love to see the Celtics win.
So underdog going there, Celtics. Okay. I'm going to go Warriors. I see them winning out. I'll let it go 6. I don't see it going the full 7. Someone gets hurt somewhere. I mean, there's already some injured players there for the Celtics, so we'll see how it goes. And next we'll head to the MLB, and we talk Phillies and Joe Girardi. And people are asking if he is worried about his job at this point, and he said no, and rightfully so. But here in a second, I'm going to ask, what do you guys think, and should he be? I mean, the Phillies are 11 to 12 games out of first place right now. They've lost quite a few here lately. Also currently 6 back in the NL wild card. But I mean, do you guys really think his job should be in jeopardy this early? I mean, you guys in the media here, not you, Tony, yet. I mean, for me, being 6 back of the wild card, let him coach, let him work it out with his team. And if they are not closer by the All-Star game, then start looking at him more closely and see what he does and how he handles the situation. I mean, he's a manager. He's supposed to manage the players, the game, everything going on. I'm tired of drama starting early in the MLB. And I mean, you're not very far into the season. You got a long time to go. It's not even July yet. So let the team warm up and see where it goes from here. And if they don't, then let's talk firings and trades. I mean, trade deadline will be coming up soon enough. I mean, the season will get going. Summer will be in full swing. But, what are your thoughts here, Tony? Do you agree on that, or are you different thought here?
Well, how long has he been coaching?
He's been around a while. He started off with the Yankees. And then he, I guess, respectively left there from what I've heard. I didn't read too much into that whenever he left the Yankees, but he's been with the Phillies for about 2-3 years now.
Okay. And how have they been performing the last 3 years?
Not terribly. I mean, they kind of taper off here and there, but they're usually somewhat in contention. I think last year was pretty bad.
I got you. I mean, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
He knows what he needs to be doing. I don't know how many championships or part of how many championship teams he's been a part of.
Yeah.
If he's been around for 2 or 3 years now, maybe it is time for them to start looking elsewhere. They should have done it, before the season started, in my opinion. That way you have a coach that's been there for a while. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he probably should, be worried about his job. If if they didn't do very hot last season and they're not doing very hot right now, it's the unfortunate part of the business. But they probably do need to get him out of there, and unless they're okay with being a mediocre franchise.
I'll disagree there a little bit, as I already said, but I mean, I can see where you're coming from too. But again, early in the season, so we'll talk about this after the All-Star break if they're still struggling. I mean, they're only 6 games, like I said, 6 games, 7 games out of the wild card spot right now, so they're not in too much jeopardy at the moment. But
sure,
we'll talk about it after All-Star break and see if that's still a topic at hand. So next up, MLB, we talk Brewers as they once again take a huge blow in the bullpen as pitcher Brandon Woodruff hits the IL with a high ankle sprain. I mean, that makes him and Peralta, who are a combined 8-5 together, not the greatest, but I mean, that's a pretty good 8 wins there to 5 loss ratio. I mean, together this season on the bump, they look decent. So do you think this will affect the Brewers, or do you think they will be okay? I mean, they are currently in first place over the Cardinals and a very bad NL Central other than those 2 teams, but lead the Cardinals by 3+ games currently. Personally, I don't think they need to worry either, just kind of like the Girardi situation. But what are your thoughts here? Do you think that they should worry right now, or do you think they have time to settle in as well?
I mean, again, kind of now I'm kind of taking your side. Is it's early in the season, so whatever adjustments they need to make, they can make. If they can trade for somebody or pick up somebody, to help them out, they can. So at this point in their situation, they can still get ahead of this, and they're still sitting in a good spot.
They are.
So with them having, they still have the advantage, I would say.
I mean, even with that bullpen, you got Josh Hader leading things and doing good for me in fantasy baseball right now. The dude is really good. I mean, hurt a little bit, but that goes as you're in the bullpen. I mean, they get dinged up quite a bit, but they do what they do. They get paid, and as long as they're not severely hurt, they're coming into that game. So I think they got plenty of depth at pitching, especially in the bullpen. I think they'll be fine for a little while. Now, if they lose a couple more guys, then we'll talk more about this as well. So, and with that, we go ahead and head to the NFL as OTAs continue. And, well, a big story out of Cleveland, other than Deshaun Watson and his 23rd whatever civil suit kind of thing going on there, David Njoku is getting a 4-year, essentially $57 million deal, and 28 of that guaranteed. This is a guy who has 5 seasons under Baker Mayfield throwing to him. And, Tristan would say Baker's one of the best, which, yeah, he's all right, but I just don't think he can get things done, which is also why nobody wants to trade for him right now. As soon as Deshaun got there, he knew his job was done. I mean, yeah, he might get to play 4 or 5 games, depending on a suspension or not. But, again, though, talking about Njoku here, who really hasn't had anybody to throw to him, to be honest, but only on top of that, he's been outshadowed by Coleman in year 1. And then he had Antonio Callaway come in, who was healthy for a while, and Landry in year 2. In year 3, he had an injury, I believe, somewhere in his leg. And then he also had OBJ and Landry, because OBJ came in that year. And I believe those two would have seen most of those snaps that year. Year 4, he had Landry, Higgins, and Hooper. And I mean, they all outplayed him. And then in 2021, last year, Peoples-Jones saw more targets and yards than him. And this year already seems kind of low for him as well, as they go out and get Amari Cooper and they bring back Peoples-Jones. And, I mean, do you think this is a good deal for the Browns overall? I mean, we know it's a good deal for Njoku, but what are your thoughts here? Do you think he gets more playing time with that being said?
I mean, I think he's going to get plenty of playing time, but I don't know if he's going to get a lot of touches.
Yeah.
If I'm, they're spending that much money on him, they obviously intend to getting him the ball. So maybe, he gets a little bit more money, he gets the ball a little bit more. Obviously, there's something there that they see that they really like in order to give him more money. So, if Deshaun Watson goes in there, he wins the starting spot. He starts spreading the ball around because, he's a really good quarterback, and, he's dealing with what he has currently outside, the realm of football. If there isn't no suspension and he is good to go, I see him, getting the ball a lot more. We're everybody getting the ball a lot more. I think Baker does a very bad job at spreading the ball around.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't think he has a bias towards anybody. Yeah, I think it's just more than I believe he probably just has a little bit more of a tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something he's working on this season, this off season. We'll see. So hopefully he does get the ball a bit more because I feel like they could definitely take advantage of it.
I mean, he's definitely a good tight end at that point. Not Kittle or Kelsey-esque or Gronk, but I mean, he's up there in the middle, and middle guys
Waddle.
usually do fairly well. Do what?
Or Waddle.
Yeah, or Waddle. I mean, Waddle's a receiver, but they do kind of use him like a tight end. He's a big man. He's a big man.
He's a big dude.
And, on that, we'll go ahead and continue and finish out lastly here in the Denver Broncos as we talk wide receiver here. Jerry Jeudy, who is being dismissed of charges filed against him for a misdemeanor of domestic violence. But the NFL, despite being not guilty and not being charged, is, as of now, still going to discipline him. Do you think he should be fined by the NFL and suspended, or suspended and not fined, or fined and not suspended? I mean, whatever way this ends up going, do you think he should have a punishment from the NFL after these accusations come out?
No, I mean, I don't know. You and I both don't know of any of, the truth to what happened.
Yeah.
It's between him, the court, and God. If, anything happened, if they threw the charges out, then obviously there's not a strong enough case for them to build against him to prove that he actually did it. So in my opinion, yeah, he shouldn't get fined. There shouldn't be no repercussions towards him. Let the guy ball and, let that be that. Agreed.
I agree wholeheartedly there. I think he should be able to play this year. NFL should just go ahead and drop those charges. And, we will now head to the local sports update brought to you by Trackside Burgers. And we are going to talk local fighting as we bring in Cade Crouch. And how are you, sir?
Surviving, man. Can't complain. Wish I got to eat a little bit more. We're getting close to the fight, so I got to kind of tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, you got a big
That's what
fight
I need to be doing.
Definitely would be eating. I don't think I could do the self-control stuff.
I'm not doing very well either, so that makes you feel any better.
But big fight coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that before we get into some more questions here?
Yeah, so next fight, June 18th at Buffalo Run Casino. I'm inviting, I think his name's Dalton. I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked too much. Saw something on him. He's 6'4". That's all I really needed to know. I could care less, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard on the regional scene. You don't want to get too invested in guys because I don't even know if, that's who's going to show up that night. It is what it is. It's part of the business. But, again, they all got blank faces to me. It don't matter who you put in, they're going to get it the same. So.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. so far? How's camp been? When did you start? What phase are you in right now?
Camp's been pretty good so far. I think this go around, it seems like every camp gets a little bit better each time. I'd say probably total really 6 weeks. I would say I started training 8 weeks, started cleaning up the diet around 6 weeks. But for the last 6 weeks, and I've been on my regimen of usually 3 to 4 days a week of 2-day workouts. But I joke around about the eating. This fight's actually going to be at a max of 160. So contractually, can't be over 160, which I know I've been fighting at 158, but I'll make a career at 154 and below. I always come in smaller than everyone else. I usually weigh in about 154, 155. I just like to practice that cut. And if I need to put the weight back on to be close, then I'll do that. But yeah, man, so this one's at 160. So I've been chilling. Honestly, my body feels really good. I just toned back sparring about a week and a half ago. I had, got a whole bunch of really good different looks. Obviously when I tell everyone that he's 6'4", everyone's first reaction is like, he's all of a sudden has the advantage. And I can tell you this much, personally, I prefer to fight taller fighters. I like it. For some reason I do better. And at the end of the day, being tall doesn't make you a good boxer. Being tall, the only thing it assures you is that you can reach stuff on the, top of the cabinet. That's it. It don't make you tough. It doesn't mean, if I land, being tall ain't going to help you. It's not going to hurt you, to be honest. So,
yeah.
But it's been going good, man. Just again, how it is, toning back these last 2 weeks, going to be putting a lot of miles, on the road, a lot of road work in, just kind of refining and making sure that I'm in a caloric deficit for the next probably at least, 14 to 15 days.
Sure. And, you already kind of talked about your opponent a little bit. He's a taller dude. What's your plan? How do you plan on putting him away this time?
He's orthodox. I fight southpaw. I will switch to orthodox when I feel like I need to switch. But in reality, man, there was about a 3-week period where I couldn't envision. I'm a big visionary guy. Like I like to see it. I like to do it. But man, for this last week and a half, I just can't get it out of my head. Man, I laid down last night. My heart rate got up because I just closed my eyes and it just started I was in the ring thinking I was like, oh, I'm going to smash this guy.
Yeah.
I know you and I had talked a little bit about it being 6'4". I think what I'm going to do, I'll chop him down on the body a little bit. It's different when I fight a guy my size because the time it takes for someone at my height to hit the ground and a 6'4" guy is a little bit different. So I think initially I'll kick it off with a pretty big body shot. And then I'll probably catch him pretty clean coming down. But regardless, I go in there to finish. I don't trust judges. There's a few things in this world I don't trust, and one's the government, and two are judges in combat sports. So, you can't you never know what you're getting with either of them. So, if I can leave it out of the judges' hands, I will. I'm having a hard time. I want to be respectful, but I'm having a hard time really seeing this one getting out of the first round. Again, he's tall, whatever. I don't know. It might be tough. He might not be tough. But I got to respect that he took the fight. There were several names that we reached out that, I'll keep my cards hidden for a while. That we reached out on our end from my team and they didn't want it, and I get it. I'll be in their position one day where, guys with lesser records below me, less experience, it's not worth taking the risk. And I get that. But, this guy signed a contract as far as I know. So I got to respect that, but man, I don't see it getting out of the first in reality, who knows, it might make me eat my words. But I hit pretty hard. So
you mentioned, how tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to see you torture this guy. I don't know, something about, again, I respect, I respect the guy for taking it, and it's bad for me to wish this dude bad, but I'd like to see you torture this guy, to the point where, that second round, he's like, man, this is tough. And then you go out there in that second round and you break his ribs. That's what I want to see personally.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, I'm not in the ring, so you're the only one in control of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I actually kind of had a little bit more of an emphasis on sparring this go around of, again, like that last fight, a 2-minute knockout is great. And I got a lot of work in against my last opponent. It was 2 minutes, but I landed, I probably landed north of 60 punches in that 2 minutes. So it was good work, but just as well as I do, that ring time is something you can't mimic. So where first round knockouts are awesome, they also really, obviously I'm still getting better, but experience is, gold. But at the same time, I don't get paid hourly, and he's looking to hurt me too. So what's the point of me sticking in there longer than I need to? You know what I mean?
No, I get it. Yeah, no. So fight night, when you're going to the fight, or what's your favorite part about fight night besides knocking somebody out?
Honestly, so there's this really weird, like, don't get me wrong, man, I love fighting. I love it. It's fun. I can live without it. I am detached enough. If I never boxed again, then so be it. I got a baby gonna be here in August. I got a wife. I work with a whole bunch of baseball players. I used to struggle a lot back in the day, especially when my arm gave out for baseball, being so connected to the sport that I felt like my worth was there. I will say
Sure.
I am disconnected to boxing. And when I tell you that I'm scared, I'm not the same kind of scared that, like someone off the streets would be. I'm just scared because I'm putting myself out there in front of all my friends, all my family, to get whooped potentially. So to answer your question, what's my favorite part is that period from the second that ref says 10 or waves his arms off. There's about a 15-second period there where I'm just like, like,
Yeah.
like 8 weeks gone. It's done.
Yeah.
I can do one of these. I'm done, and I'm just like, thank God I made it out. I don't get paid hourly. They don't care if I can wipe my butt when I'm 70 years old. So there's no stress for anyone else. Those promoters, they just like, they call Theron Crouch because they're like, we need some money in our pocket. That's the only thing that's it. They don't call me. They don't check up weekly to see how I'm doing. They don't check on my insurance business. They don't check on my baseball business. They don't give a crap.
Yeah.
They want me there for one reason, because I put butts in seats. So
Yeah.
for me, it's so much stress, and I do feel like I hide it well. But that 10 to 15 seconds, man, after that, there is just no better feeling. There's just nothing, man. And it's
Yeah.
awesome. And then I go eat for the rest of the night. And then I wake up the next morning and I call Mossberg and I'm like, when are we doing it again, man? I'm like, and I'm like, and then, something happens and I'm like, God, I really don't want to do this. So it's highs and lows, but hands down, man, everything's cool before the fight, but there's nothing better than finishing the fight and just knowing you're safe. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm safe now. So the threat's eliminated. I'm safe. I made it out fine. I'm gonna go home to my wife. I don't really stick around after my fights. Stick around and shake hands and hug who I need to hug. But reality is, man, I just want to go home and go to bed. I'm gonna go see my dogs and be done with it. It's
Sure.
It is what it is. But it is just it is fun to just go through the whole process the whole night. So that's definitely the best.
Heck yeah. I got one more question for you. So there's this guy that I've seen you tweet about or make posts about, Nico Ali Walsh. Tell me a little bit about him. You think he's legit? You think he carries a name with him? Probably one of the best boxers of all time, Muhammad Ali. He carries the same name. And what can we do to help you get this fight?
So Nico and I got on the scene at the same time. He obviously had some amateur stuff, I believe, whatever. But we got on the scene at the same time, and man, it's not like from what I've seen, he's like a great kid. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen anyone say anything bad about him on the background. He's a great guy. I know he comes from a good family. It is what it is, but at the end of the day, man, it's not personal in the sense that he lives like rent free in my head. It's personal in the sense that I just feel like he has what I deserve. You know what I mean? Like, not that he's been fed a silver spoon. He's definitely worked, obviously, and you can see that over his fights. Listen, that first fight, I was looking at that guy chomping at the bits because I was like, give me him. I will knock him out in one round. Now this last fight, he comes out, he did great. He's definitely, him and I are both, but now we're in this weird, and I say we, like this guy even really cares about me because he's safe. We're in this weird predicament where now I'm almost like, I don't even want to waste that fight right now. You know what I mean? We've got some pretty big phone calls. Yeah. I keep that stuff on wraps. I like to keep my cards close to my chest. That way, because I'm a businessman before I'm a boxer. So I don't like to show all that stuff unless needed. And we've got some stuff, that's brewed up, that's in the works, that, I feel like eventually him and I will meet. But now it's almost to the point where I'm just going to let him continue to do his thing, continue to build his name. I'm going to build mine. And then maybe around that 12-0, 14-0 mark, maybe him and I will cross paths. And I'm just going to take everything that, to be quite blunt with you, I deserve. And he doesn't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel like if we organize, a few people to, tweet at this guy, because I've seen his fights, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm not saying this because I'm biased. I say this because I say how it is. Like I'm like this with everybody. I think you're a better fighter than he is, at least at the moment. Based off the last, I've watched his fights. I think you have more skill. Overall, I feel like he's stiff. I feel like he's slow. I think overall you're a better fighter. So I would love to see you knock out somebody with the last name Ali. I think you got to be pretty badass. But I think we need to keep tweeting at him and doing, just kind of stepping on his toes as much as we can.
Yeah, we
bleep button there, Tony.
What'd you say?
What?
We don't got a bleep button there, Tony. We a kid-friendly show.
Oh yeah.
No, and like I said, we've sent messages on, like we've sent stuff out on social media. I am more than confident that my name is amongst their desks. But again, you're at the point now where it's like, I don't really, call me self-conceited, whatever you want. I don't want to waste that fight while we're still lower level fighters. Cause now I'm like, hey dude, like, listen, when I get on a show, the whole Midwest is coming with me. I can promise that. I'm not just some dork like he's, that he signed to fight these little dorky guys that they couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper sack. And again, he is a good fighter. I do believe he is stiff, like you said. He does hit hard, but I don't know a man alive that if you just stand there and let them punch you doesn't hit hard. And that's the difference between me and these guys. I'm not going to be standing there. My game plan is to get in and out. And if we have to bang, we got to bang. Then I'll plant my feet, and we can go at it. That's completely fine. But, I am very unorthodox. And again, I think the biggest thing between me and these guys is his name doesn't scare me. You know what I mean? Like, I could care less, man. Like, hey, my grandpa was a professional boxer. That's why I got into boxing. Same for you. All right, let's see who the better bloodline is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I say, because we'll never know now. I go in there, I'm going to tell him right now, hey, the Crouch Montgomery bloodline, better than Ali bloodline, 1-0, That's no disrespect to Ali. I actually have, like, official Muhammad Ali signed things. I love that guy. Who doesn't? But you know what I mean? That's definitely a fight down the road. And we've got other big names that they're on the list too. At some point in my life, they can all get it. But right now, my main focus is Dalton, June 18th, Buffalo Run. I'm going to mow through him. My wife's going to have our baby. I'm going to be a dad. And, and then after that, that's uncharted territory for me, So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, who knows? I might be fighting, once a month after that because the word on the street is babies are expensive. So,
Yeah.
So if I got to crack some heads open for my daughter, then so be it.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and take care.
Yes, I appreciate you guys too.
Luck on your fight night too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say we do need to get some tickets from you pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah. Just holler at me. So, all right. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
buddy.
Thank you for coming on. June 18th, everyone. June 18th. Be staying tuned to our podcast because we will most definitely be covering that continually. And with that, we will now head into the 2-minute warning brought to you by Hot Stone Pizzeria here in Webb City. And have had the grand opening yesterday. Go check them out. And, well, in our 2-minute warning, we have the Outlaws baseball starting up, and they will start a 4-game homestand tomorrow as they will play at Joe Becker Stadium at 7 p.m. against the Griffins of Nevada. Then they will play host to Des Moines at 7 p.m. Friday, and then Saturday they will take on Des Moines again, once again at 7 p.m. And, well, that will be Humane Society night as well. Of course, all these games and events are pending to the weather and the current and fluid COVID-19 situation. So tune into each team's social media pages for times and updates. And, well, the music is here again, and so is the end of another episode. For Tony and myself, have a great and safe week and weekend. I hope you guys had a good Memorial Day weekend as well. And we want to thank all those heroes out there who have died for our country and everything that they've done to bring back if they survived as well. So we want to honor them and continue to honor them for many years to come. For everything here on the Sports Timeout podcast, we'll catch you all next week.
See you, man.